I think it's okay to go ahead and play this hand. I technically have all three colors available to me, and I usually won't need more than 2 at any one time. Oh no. I should go after the dragon, right? The dragon's why I made the deck. I have 4 copies finally. I like the expensive taste element of it, exiling the top 2 cards of the opponent's library. So that's the theme of this entire deck. Oh, he takes Corvald and the Noble Thief instead. Interesting. I wonder if he just has a second spell. Let's go ahead and do Siphon Insight. He knows I have it. Let's see. I think we take this. Obviously a lot of discard. Let's see if we can get rid of some of his stuff. Gross. Okay, let's see. They know we have this too. They don't get to see what we have. So discard a ninjutsu deck, basically. Okay. Let's see what we can do with this. Discard 2 cards. What are the odds? We took 1 discard spell away from them. They've used 2 already. What are the odds they've got a 3rd one ready to go? I'd like to get one laying down and just kill these things. We're not worried about this yet. They're almost out of ammunition, right? Creature card or artifact card. They get rid of a land. So let's assume, I know that's difficult, but let's assume that they kept an artifact or creature in that draw. And we're going to get something good from this. Okay, good. Get their lifelinker out of there. And it also got rid of that stuff, huh? Okay, what do we want to do next? We could kill all of them, or that's cut down. That's not going to impact my dragon. So let's just do a disfigure. They can't pump this up if it's not there. That's enough for this turn. Yeah, they're going to go for maximum impact. That's fine. We get their 3 cards. We can play them this turn. And they don't wait for it. They quit. Okay. That's, you know, they got me half dead. I didn't hit them once. You saw it, folks. Welcome to Tpull's Corner. I'm Travis. This is what happens all the time in case you're new. If you are new, go ahead and subscribe as I break down this deck called Exile the Library. It was based on looking at Decadent Dragon, the expensive taste adventure part. Exile the top 2 cards of target's opponent library face down. You can look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled, but they don't fix your mana for it. A lot of the other spells in Magic the Gathering are you can cast this using any color mana. So we go look over at Siphon Insight, right? Look at the top two cards in target opponent's library, something similar. Exile one of them, put the other one, they get it back at the bottom of their library. You may play the exiled card for as long as it remains exiled, same as Decadent Dragon. And you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast that spell. So it lets us cast any spell. This does not. Whenever Decadent Dragon attacks, when you bring out the dragon for 4 mana later, you create a treasure token. So if you don't have the colors of your opponent, you can't cast the spells that are exiled. This is part of the reason why they say you may look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. This spell gives you the chance to get the right colors later because they're counting on you getting the dragon down and attacking and getting the treasure, which you then use for the color you need. So we've got 3 colors. We don't have green and white, but the treasures will get us green and white. In the meantime, other things that we have to help us out with exiling from the opponent's graveyard. We have 4 copies of the Stone Brain. Only 2 to get down. You exile it for 2 more. Choose a card name. You get to search the graveyard, hand, and library for up to 4 cards with that name and exile them. If they did have 1 or more of those cards in their hand, they get to draw a card for each card that's exiled. We've got 1 copy of Outrageous Robbery. Target opponent exiles the top X cards of their library face down. Here again, you may look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. And like Siphon Insight, unlike Decadent Dragon, we get the mana ability, so we can spend any color mana that we have and it'll work. For control, we have 4 copies of Path of Peril. The treasure from Decadent Dragon might give us the extra white if we need to do a full board wipe. Or we also have this spell from Wilds of Eldraine, Corvold and the Noble Thief. Spends 2 chapters creating treasure tokens. This will also help us with Path of Peril if we need it, if we need to cast the cleave cost. And then on chapter 3, you exile the top 3 cards of your target opponent's library. You may play those cards only for this turn. So it's giving you the treasure up front. It's the opposite of Decadent Dragon. Decadent Dragon gives you the cards, then it gives you the treasure tokens for later. Here, you only get 1 chance to play those cards this turn. But hopefully you kept those 2 treasure tokens before. It doesn't let you fix the mana the way Siphon Insight and Outrageous Robbery does. So 1 chance to play any of those top 3 cards. And you saw it was too much for my opponent. They just cut and ran. What else to help us out here? We've got 1 copy of Honored Heirloom for a mana dork, adds 1 mana of any color. Also exiles target card from a graveyard in case they've got some sort of graveyard recursion or flashback spells, that kind of thing. Because we're going to use a copy of 1 of our 2 copies of Realmbreaker to mill their cards, get some of their lands from the graveyard onto the battlefield under our control. We've also got Gix Yawgmoth Praetor, 4 copies of it. Whenever a creature deals combat damage, the controller can pay 1 life if they do draw a card. So that's a way for us to possibly get card draw, but it fits the theme for his next ability. For 7 mana, discard X cards. You can exile the top X cards of target opponent's library. And this we don't need to worry about mana cost, because it works the same way Siphon Insight and Outrageous Robbery does. So it's basically in there because it fits the theme, right? What else do we have? Because we're taking so much from their deck, we also have 1 copy of Jace the Perfected Mind, so that maybe if they get low on cards, we can just mill them out. And I've also got 1 copy of Lord Xander the Collector. When he enters the battlefield, they discard half the cards in their hand. Most of what I'm doing is attacking their library, right? So this is a way for me to get at the cards in their hand as well. Stone Brain might help with that a little bit. Also, whenever he attacks, we mill half their library, round it down, and when it dies, opponent sacrifices half the non-land permanents they control, round it down. The other thing I have to get at their stuff, Kotose, the Silent Spider. This is from Kamigawa. When it enters the battlefield, you exile a target card other than a basic land card. This gets exiled from the opponent's graveyard, but we get to search the graveyard, hand, and library for all of the cards with the same name. And as long as Kotose stays on the field, we get a chance to play 1 of those. The rest of them will get exiled. So if we take 4 copies of something, we can play 1 of those spells, and then the remaining 3 copies will go in their exile. And finally, Deadly Cover-Up. Additional cost to cast a spell, you can collect evidence 6. You destroy all creatures. If you do collect evidence, exile a card from opponent's graveyard. Again, search the graveyard, hand, and library for any number and exile those as well. So, we have a lot of chances here to just take away all of the important things that they have. I think it's just a case of surviving long enough, so that we don't get swarmed, really. To help us out with that, we have 2 copies of Restless Reef that turns into a creature, 2 copies of Restless Spire that turns into a creature, and 1 copy of Restless Vents that turns into a creature. We got the Xander's Lounge to give us a nice ability to get our 3 colors One field of room to go search for one that we might need, and 4 Maestros theaters to go search for one that we might need, and then Pit of Offerings that also takes things out of their graveyard. So mostly we're exiling cards from their library, but we do have a way to exile from their graveyard quite a bit, and we do have a little bit of ways to get into their hand and a little bit of ways to mill them. So that's the overall theme of the deck. I think they all make for a good fit. You could argue to put in more copies of Jace or Xander or something, but we would have gone over 60 cards. And at some point, I did need to have the 4 copies of Path of Peril. You do need some kind of interaction so you just don't get steamrolled right away. And if I'd had more copies of, say, like Outrageous Robbery, that would not have been as useful as a Path of Peril. So we can't really just go entirely 100% of a theme. This is why a lot of people, beginning players, have trouble with things like they're making a mill deck or they're making a discard deck, because they'll go like all in. Oh, every card is a discard spell. It's like, no, you can't really do that. All right, what do we want to lose? This is the most expensive card. We do have problems with discard decks. You saw we did okay with our last discard deck, but yeah, they get to choose artifact or creature. There goes our dragon. We still haven't been able to cast a spell. Tap land. We're getting to the place where we might be able to do something if they don't keep making us discard things. Okay. Let's try... They made us get rid of Realmbreaker, huh? Let's go ahead and dig in. Okay, we got rid of a couple of... Is that their copy? No, that's my copy, right? I was going to say. Yeah, we only exiled the top 2 cards. I was going to say, they don't have a Decadent Dragon. That's 1, and that's 1. They do know we have the Path of Peril, right? I'm not sure why they did that. Now this was face down, so they don't know the cards that we got out of this. Hopeless Nightmare. Let's get rid of Siphon Insight because we still get to use it with the flashback. And they go to Stride. This is what we like. They like their cards. Oh, you know what? If you like them, we're taking them. Oh, that's lovely. How about you discard a card and lose 2 life? How does it feel? Nahaha. Let's put down this too. If they don't want it to transform, they'll have to spend things killing it. Oh, they choose... Okay, so we lose Gix. Sacrifice their second Hopeless Nightmare. They go to Scry again. They know we have Siphon Insight, right? They say they like the top 2 cards. Do we believe them? You know what? Let's say we believe them. Let's look at what they got. We'll take Tiny Bones. Their land goes to the bottom, and we'll put Tiny Bones down. Okay. Let's do this. That's all we'll do. They're doing good on the land draw, that's for sure. That's one thing Phyrexian Arena will do good for you. Okay, are you going to discard a card? They discard a land. They get rid of Corvold and the Noble Thief. Didn't they have a chance to get rid of our Deck and Dragon, right? Otherwise, you can put a face-up exiled card. This is face-up exiled, right? They could have taken that too, yes? You're going to choose to mill 2 more of your cards after you've already seen my deck. Okay, they didn't mill the cards. Okay, Tiny Bones Death Touch should take care of this creature. If they cast this as a spell, it's going to cost them 5 life. They can't take out... Oh, they do. They got 5 power. So they kill both of his creatures. Everybody that's dying is his creature, not mine. Oh, that's lovely. I think we do need to put this down now, because he might have more discard. But I don't think...
For the sake of Phyrexia, I will keep watch. Become subdued.
Let's go ahead and sacrifice this. And we'll scry this time. Ooh, Restless Reef. I'll take a Restless Reef. That allows me to know for sure I'm playing a land and I have room to cast one of the exile spells rather than risk losing another card to discard. Are you serious? Yeah, you're going to have to discard, right? Okay, so... Oh! There was no cards for me to discard. So, this is kind of cool, right? I'm playing Painful Quandary on my opponent. They're the one that had this spell, but since their discard spells don't work anymore, that's good discard for them to play the spells that might be useful to them. It's too bad for you. That legendary enchantment was just another discard spell for the most part. With 2 draws, as long as one of the cards isn't... Even if it's a land. Okay, you're going to discard Tiny Bones for that. I didn't have anything in my hand, so I had no choice there. Let's bring this puppy down. Let's bring this puppy down. How many cards do we have left? I don't think they have anything to do with Planeswalkers.
Organic minds are easily quelled.
I will resolve this. I will sacrifice the Canyon Crab. Breach the Multiverse? What's he going to get from me? Kotosi? That's not a bad card. Oh, he could get Jonji from his own. He had some better creatures in there. Okay, 2 dragons. Bring it. Land in a land. Okay, I'm going to keep that in my hand. No, it's not in my hand. It's still in exile. 19 cards. Guess what? We don't need to wait for you to hit me this time.
Surrender every last thought to Phyrexia.
Jace for the win. Yeah, that was kind of fun for me. You know, often discard can really, especially, they did pretty good with the discard spells. With that enchantment that they can sacrifice, I expected to come across a lot more discard spells, discard decks ever since then, and I haven't. Discard's been kind of low. It's been surprising for me. I paired that up with a nice discard deck with Liliana. It worked great. From my earliest days of playing Magic the Gathering, I've loved discard ever since cards like Hypnotic Spectre, Hymn to Turok, those kind of things. They were great. I just ate those up. I'd make discard / mill decks all the time. So I actually try and stay away from them a little bit here on this channel just because I know I have a tendency to go overboard with them. So I don't want to do nothing but create discard decks all the time. So they're very few for me. I make them very rarely. I'm actually probably overdue to make one. It's probably been too long. But I don't come across them that often. Here, this is 2 discard decks in a row. I wonder if it's something about the deck makeup that Arena's algorithm decided that discard has good odds against me. It does worry me, right? It does slow me down, that's for sure. World Soul's Rage could be the end of me. That's going to come in tapped. Let's go ahead and Siphon Insight. I think we take this. Because if we took this card and we used it, the owner would... No, let's see. I would get it in my graveyard? Would that work, or would it go to theirs? I forget. What do we want to do with this? I've got the 2 blues. I am going to need... I feel like I need to go get that for now. Oh no, I should have gotten the other one. I have a swamp. I'm not looking. The whole point of Aftermath Analyst is to return cards on lands from the graveyard. If Realmbreaker, but Realmbreaker, I can take their lands, right? So maybe I can use Realmbreaker each turn and deprive them of the ammo they need. No, they're going to get them all right now. That's a good round. It's a lot of energy. This is basically the combo right here, right? Aftermath with Nisa, activate Aftermath, get a ton of extra energy, play whatever you want. You don't even need to tap that thing. They could bring that down and do it all again, right? Maybe I could take something from them, like World Soul's Rage. Hello? What are you going to do, kill my crab? Boo-hoo. Dang. That's a lot of stuff. Alright, here we go. They're basically tapped out. We're going to take World Soul's Rage. They have one in their hand. And one there. What else do we have? Some ill-timed explosions. A bunch of Nissas. So really that's it. I've got their main win condition already. You can't get past me with the Nissas or the Aftermath Analyst. they know it. That's all we needed, was to get their one key card. They could have used Fires of Victory on Katosi when they got it, right? They had probably 3 more copies of Fires of Victory in their hand, or in their deck. If they'd have gotten one of those and taken out Katosi, then they might have had a chance with their Nissas. But they calculated the odds of them getting that in time to help them out. Because they would also had to get rid of the crab. It's very strange. They had enough land out. They did so well on the land with Aftermath Analyst so quickly with Nissa. They could have gotten Virtue of Strength down. They could have gotten access to virtually unlimited amounts of mana every single turn, and it still wasn't enough for them. Because they didn't build enough. They were counting on World Soul's Rage to do direct damage to my face. And probably normally it would have worked, honestly, because not a lot of people make these kind of decks. But there is a reason why when I make a themed deck, I usually make a point of explaining to you, showing you, oh hey, none of the cards in our combo came up, but we still won with the deck. Because it's good to make a nice, well-rounded deck that can win without, even if your particular combo isn't going to come up. And you can do it like a meme deck and make it a one-trick pony. They don't consider that a meme deck. They consider that just like a winning deck. And it's actually not. It's kind of a meme deck. We have 3 Path of Peril, so I'm going to use 1. feel like this is a mono red haste deck. So maybe we use Katos. We'll take the Volt Charge. What do you got in your hand? Terror of the Peaks, Pyrrhic Blast. The 3 Volt Charges. They've got Portal to Phyrexia and Cityscape Leveler and Arcane Bombardment and Chimmel. They got a lot of... Oh, they have 3 Terror of the Peaks? Crap. They don't have a lot of cheap stuff, do they? They don't seem to have a lot of cheap stuff. We're taking those. Terror of the Peaks already. Yeah, we'll put this out. A second Terror of the Peaks. That has got to be a top deck. That's a top deck. Crap in a hat. That is just not fair. So what's left? We don't have any flyers. We can take that. We're done. That was 2 Terror of the Peaks. They drew nothing but land and just top decked a second Terror. I think Arena really helped them with the shuffle that time when we took that spell. Arena just shuffled, so the one card that they needed to win was basically the card they drew. I don't think anything else would have helped them. Okay. We need to get out more Venerated Rot Priests. Make sure that we don't have to worry about any more of those. They have Shore Ups. They have Ivy. They have Bring the Ending. What else do we have? Distorted Curiosity, Essence Capture, Experimental Augury, Thrumming Bird, Infectious Bite. I really need Ivies, don't I? We'll take those. I need an untapped land. Hexproof. Oh, they're doing that. I didn't get an untapped land. Oh, you know what? They didn't get their land, though. We're fine. I don't have the second black for that yet. I can just do this to start with. They can give it flying for 1. They do nothing. I've got 3 counters. They can actually counter anything that I put out. So what if we just do this? They still don't have their blue. Okay, they just got land starred was all there was to it. Okay, so the shuffling that I did when I got rid of the 3 Rot Priests disrupted. They were probably going to get their land, but me making them shuffle the deck messed everything up. Another lovely unanticipated advantage of doing things very early on. Well, I gotta say, it's a fun deck. It's working pretty good. I'm going to say my opponent's name is Dr. Pup USA. That's how I'm pronouncing that. They like puppies. What are the odds they have something to take out artifacts real close up front? We made them think. Unfortunately, I don't have the right land colors to do much else right now. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's see what we're facing. Tribal deck, possibly? +2 and haste. Gross. Ouch. Alright. I think we try and put down somebody to block that, I guess, because we didn't get removal. I need the color for that, right? I don't have that yet. Let's put down our dragon. The problem is if they have another Felonious Rage or something to get rid of. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I kind of have to block it anyway, right? Actually, I don't think it matters if I block it. I think I'm dead. Look at that. Stone Brain would not have been helpful in that case at all. 1 mana, 1 mana, 1 mana, 1 mana. And they had everything that they needed. 4-turn kill. Look at that. That's outrageous. Good game. Yeah, we're gonna block it. I'm not even gonna show you guys the deck after this. I'm just gonna leave it here and watch that. That's obscene. Okay, so there you have it. We choose to exile the opponent's library. It works pretty well. It holds up against discard decks, but just so I can be humbled, Arena made sure to find the exact deck that would kill me very, very quickly and basically make sure there's nothing I could do against it. Now, if I had drawn one of the 4 Path of Perils, I could have probably killed that, right? They didn't have anything indestructible. They gave it indestructible that we know of. But just so happens they got the one creature that was good against us, and they had all the spells that they needed. They threw away all their other creatures, and they basically used every bit of land that they got. They hit every land drop they got, used every bit of land they got to get exactly what they needed to put us in our place. Thank you, Arena, for magically making that happen. I think I'm going to hold on to this deck and play it some more. I don't think I'm going to come up against this type of deck very often, because when was the last time somebody went up against Illuminator Virtuoso? It's been several months for me. But we'll leave it there. Go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know what you would like about the deck, or if you do something different with it. And as always, like and subscribe. This is Travis signing off for Tpull's Corner. Have a good one, everybody.